Welcome to part 15 of Griff Ruby's series Ecclesiology for Sedevacantists, based as is on Dogmatic Theology, Volume 2, Christ Church, by Msgr G. van Noort. Continuing where we left off. Scholium. The personal prerogatives of the apostles. It was stated above, and with deliberate caution, that Christ willed the transmission from the apostolic college to an endless line of successors, of the threefold power of teaching, sanctifying, and ruling. But not every single thing which God granted the apostles was to be handed down to their successors. The apostles exercised, as it were, a twofold function, that of the apostolate and that of the pastorate or episcopate. They were first and foremost apostles, taking this word in its strict sense, i.e., legates commissioned by God to promulgate all of his revelation and to start or set up Christ's church. Then, secondarily, so to speak, they were the first pastors of the church to which they had been given form, It is readily understandable that the apostolic office demanded certain prerogatives which the pastoral office, as such, did not require. Therefore, as apostles, each of them had a direct divine mission to carry out both the aforementioned tasks over all the world. Furthermore, b. They enjoyed the charisms of revelation, 2. Infallibility in matters pertaining to their mission, and 3. Of miracles. They didn't mention it here, but they're also able to write the Bible. But perhaps that ties in with the revelation here. The apostolate was, to begin with, by its very nature, an extraordinary gift confided to these men alone. The gifts conferred on them by reason of their apostolate did not pass to subsequent pastors of the church, since they were not simply, and in every respect, successors of the apostles, but only in the pastoral office. But the essence of the pastoral office consists precisely in the threefold power of teaching, of the priesthood, and of ruling. Proposition 3. The sacred rule, which began with the College of the Apostles, continued on in the College of Bishops. This proposition is a step nearer the question of precisely which men in the ancient church were in fact the apostles' successors in the pastoral office. Notice that the title successor fits only him who steps into another's place in such a way as to receive in his fullness the office which the latter had administered. And so, for a man to be reckoned a successor of the apostles, it is not enough that one apostolic power be conferred on him, like, say, the power of the priesthood in full or in part. No, he must have the whole range of power which constituted the apostles pastors of the church. The present proposition states furthermore that the apostles' successors in the sense just set forth were those officials of the church whom all Christian antiquity, at least from the beginning of the 2nd century, called bishops. Just as it was a question above of the apostolic college, so it is now a question of the college of bishops. For the present proposition does not assert that each single bishop is the successor of an individual apostle, but rather that the apostolic college was succeeded by the college of bishops, or the episcopate. This proposition is a dogma of faith. See Council of Trent, Session 23, Canon 4. So you can see that it's supposed to continue, and it continued in the bishops, and the bishops had this kind of authority. And obviously not just any bishops, but those chosen in whatever manner is operative at a given point in time by the church, and so delegated by men of respectability, which is to say, men of the church holding to the truths of the church and conspicuously doing so. But the other interesting thing is, neither does it claim that anyone is a successor to any particular individual. So while you have successors to Peter, you don't have successors to Mark or successors to Bartholomew. You see, you don't have that. And the reason being is that obviously the number of the various episcopal seats of authority would have to expand as the church expands. And now it's had to shrink quite a bit too. So there's no sense saying, oh, unless you're a successor of some particular diocesan see today that had used to existed, then you can't really have a real see. That's not true, because that seat didn't go back to the beginning, and it's not necessarily that it would go to the end of time either. So the number of sees and how they go can expand or contract, which only makes sense in the context that the proposition does not assert that each single bishop is the successor of an individual apostle, but rather that the apostolic college was succeeded by the college of bishops, or the episcopate. So that's the real succession here. I think that's enough for section 15.